I mean, they did create like a bunch of practical dinosaurs, and even though some of them are clearly hand puppets, they did make like a 12-foot animatronic T-Rex, but like Jurassic Park made a look at their animatronic T-Rex and then look at this one. So
yeah, exactly.
Even just the sound effects, like how much work went into the producing the dinosaur sound effects for Jurassic Park versus Carnosaur, which is like
it's just guys going.
Exactly.
It's not. They're not convincing.
Movies on video cassette.
Welcome to Strange Glow Video.
Guys, I'm eating junk and watching rubbish.
We're oozing with VHS, horror, nostalgia, and more.
New better block glow in the dark.
After it drops some videotape, you can get a glow-in-the-dark hand puppet from the movie Casper.
And now, your hosts, Alec, Justin, and Nick.
Hey, you're not allowed to rent here anymore.
Yeah!
Hello and welcome to the Strange Glow Video. Tonight we have a special guest joining us from the YAHS world of entertainment, podcasts, videos, and more. Jacob Walsh, I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for bringing me on. It's about time, I think, right? I feel like this is
long time coming, really,
Yeah.
more or less than anything.
Yeah.
I've been bringing
I
it
feel
up
like
for quite a while here. We need to have Jacob on for Kaiju Vision, and of course we didn't do that today, but you know,
it's okay. I mean,
We've
this
only
might
existed
be
for a month.
funner.
So.
yeah, no, this is right in the wheelhouse of we were talking about Carnosaur, and we are like, well, we should just see if Jacob wants to talk about this because I feel like he's got some
for sure.
words.
Anytime, any of this weird stuff I'm into, and this is a weird. I feel like this is a very weird. This is a weird movie.
Oh yeah,
I'm not gonna. I know we're not getting into it right away, but
yeah.
Well,
You want to run down the basics, Alec, and show us what you got?
yeah, I'm gonna run through some of these. I have a bunch of tapes, so I'm just gonna kind of bang them out real quick and show you. I showed you guys this one behind the scene, and it even has a children's genre sticker on it. I like that. Volume 1, over 40 minutes of the animated cartoon series Beetlejuice.
That's 2 episodes.
It's volume 1 too,
Volume
so
one. That's awesome.
I don't even have Beetlejuice on VHS, and I don't know how that's possible.
Really?
But I just haven't seen one in the wild, and most of my VHS I get in the wild.
Either.
So, let's see. I
That
also
is
got
peculiar.
No one sells that, right?
this was actually wrapped up still. The Ghostbusters PKE bicycle water bottle from McDonald's Happy Meal.
That's a big Happy Meal toy.
Yeah,
That is a big Happy Meal toy.
it was $6 at one of the local flea markets, and so I opened it up and put the stickers on. I was like, hell yeah! I don't have a bicycle right now. Actually, I guess I do. It's a flat
Maybe
tire.
you can put it on your mic stand.
Yeah, that'd be
Like on
pretty.
your mic.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you can put it
I
on
bet
there.
that would fit. Yeah, and just got to screw it on.
Well, McDonald's had that whole series of real Ghostbusters bike toys, so like now you got to get the rest of them.
Well, I have that, and I have the pencil sharpener.
Yeah, we
from
were
the Happy
talking
Meal.
about
That
that
was-
recently, and I don't remember that Happy Meal series.
That was a different line though. There's a Happy Meal series. It was like the
I don't remember
school
either.
supplies. Yeah, I remember
'cause there's a sharpener. There's a little Stay Puft sharpener,
Yeah, that's the one
a
I have.
pencil
Yeah.
topper.
I had the
there
movie
was a
eraser.
My
Yeah.
family started going to Burger King over McDonald's, and I think that's where I missed out. Maybe.
Snow
Yeah.
Day on VHS, and notice the orange tape.
Orange.
Always loved the Nickelodeon orange
Oh,
tape.
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and Snow Day I saw in theaters, but I haven't seen it since.
I'm sure it holds up.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's worth the investment.
All I know is
What else are you gonna do?
Chevy Chase and Chris Elliott. So what are you gonna do? Let's see. This one's pretty cool. Star Wars animated classics Ewoks: The Haunted Village on VHS.
Ooh, that's a good one. I
that
have
canon?
that right over here.
I found it at Goodwill for $1, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna not get that.
Yeah.
And that clamshell
awesome.
case too. Yeah, you have to have that.
Shannon Doherty, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Helen Hunt in Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I like a lot of girly movies, but
Yeah.
let's see here.
We never-
Problem Child.
No, that's a good one.
I know. I was like, I haven't seen that
Yeah.
in fucking years. And he's even on the. I was like scarred. I looked at the back of the VHS, and he's in the devil outfit. Remember that shit?
Mhm.
Yep.
I've never seen this one,
Yeah.
right? But I feel like it was too cool not to get.
Karate Cop.
Chuck Norris in a clamshell of Karate Cop.
Oh, I get it.
Oh boy.
Karate Top.
Yeah, it's a weird. I don't know. It looked cool, and Jake may know of this one. He's the only person who might. But this version of this VHS is like weird. Like I have some weird VHS where people have glued shit onto the VHS tape before.
Oh.
Like this looks like they cut a poster for the movie out and glued it on there, and then there's a family sticker on there.
What does it say?
Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend.
That's what I thought it said, baby.
Oh, dude. Not only do I know what Baby Secret of the Lost Legend is, I have so many copies of that movie. I have you can't see it, but the fucking original poster is framed right out of screen. That movie's amazing.
So
I love that movie.
It is a regular black box with, from what I can tell, nothing on it. And as you can see, it's sort of glued on here, but that's what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, that's the I got the clamshell right here, and it's basically the same thing. Yeah.
And
yeah, hey, this movie's dude, listen. I'll talk to you about Baby all fucking day. Here's the novelization.
Oh, nice.
This movie's awesome.
No, I bought this yesterday and was like, oh, that's perfect timing for Carnosaur. I know Jacob's gonna have something to say about this. I haven't seen it, but I'm like, I know of it. You know, it's like one of those things.
Here's the candy dispenser that they came out with in the 80s for Baby. One of them, there's two of them. I don't know where the other one's at, but yeah, dude. I went on like I think I might own every piece of merchandise they made for them. It's not much. I have like in the other room, they did like inflatable, the Brontosaur, like an inflatable, and I got one still in the package. Yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
That awesome.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I'm gonna watch this VHS sometime.
Hey, there's boobs in it.
Hell yeah.
Really?
Sean Young.
I thought it was like a kid's movie.
I mean,
kind of a kid's movie, but
yeah, it feels like
with
it's somewhere
boobs.
in there, but I don't know. It seems pretty cool to me.
Is
it
it
has
a
the
breastfeeding scene?
$1 charge if tape not rewound.
Oh my god.
It's not fucking rewound either.
Yeah.
So
Oh, somebody owes you a buck.
I've just been trying to collect as many dinosaur VHS tapes as possible. So when I saw that,
here's the beta.
hell yeah,
Hell yeah, I got every version.
it's fucking awesome.
You done?
Hell no.
Oh.
I got like 20 more tapes.
Well, get on.
No, not like 20. Maybe more like 10.
Land Before
I got the
Time.
clamshell of Land Before Time because I have the original slipcover. And I
There you
picked
go.
up the Land Before Time 2 just again because more dinosaur movies.
And then Dinosaur.
Yeah, Disney's Dinosaur. I didn't have that yet.
And then,
course.
And then Scooby Doo versus the dinosaur.
No, Scooby-Doo's Spookiest Tales, just another compilation VHS. I have a bunch of Scooby-Doo VHS too. So, speaking of, also got Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, the classic.
Like the poster right here.
Yeah, I have the video store poster there, the original.
Can't see it, can you?
Hey
Oh,
Vern,
yeah, you
it's Ernest Holidays, 3 festive episodes. And
Know what I mean, Vern?
here's quite a weird one. Walt Disney Home Video Mouser size. But how was I not going to fucking get that?
Is Britney Spears in
Dude, wherever you're getting these VHS, like this is a pretty good score.
Yeah. And last but not least is a movie that is called Bear With Me. Can you guess what it's about?
A bear in his apartment.
That's awesome.
It says, as seen on
Oh,
Animal
man.
Planet, family approved. But guess who stars? Michael Aunt Keen from Twin Peaks and Alan Thicke. How am I not going to watch
What?
Alan Thicke in a fucking bear movie with Michael Aunt Keen from Twin Peaks?
Dude,
Sure.
Alan Thicke did a lot of those weird. Have you heard of a Step Monster?
I think so.
I think I've heard of
You
it.
should look into Step Monster. It's like this. Alan Thicke is dad, and he gets a new wife, and the kid like he's like 100% sure that his stepmom is a monster, and she is. But Alan Thicke it's weird. It's awesome. Just check it out.
You'll have to
Sounds amazing.
hit me up with your guys' PO box or something after this. I can send you some tapes.
Yeah, dude.
This
for
place,
sure,
I'll find some
100%.
weird shit.
Yeah, dude. That sounds good. We'll do like an exchange.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I got some
I
DC
don't-
McFarlane figures today.
What'd you find?
Flashpoint Aquaman.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I have nothing to say about that.
Batman Beyond. Batman.
I like that. Batman Beyond is cool. I have a couple Batman Beyond VHS tapes.
Both Build-A-Figures. And then the excellent Egghead.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing that guy on the shelves.
This is my first
He's
day.
pegging one
I
of
bet
things
you
really
have.
nicely.
I'm still waiting for Teen.
No, it's cool that they're doing those though. It's just
Yeah, I
that
think so.
Teen Tut's out in some places.
it makes sense that Egghead would just be sitting all over those fucking shelves though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I almost bought it just because it's Vincent Price, but I was like, dude, I don't want this.
Well, I've noticed
Yeah.
the black and white figures aren't selling, and then like the ones where they're wearing boxing gear and swim trunks didn't sell very well.
Yeah.
The rest of them, I
Sells a
think,
lot.
have sold pretty good.
Yeah.
So they have. I didn't even show off all the tapes. There's also like when Harry met Sally and some other random shit. Just like
Nice.
You're like, yeah, I'll get that. I'll get that for the collection. Sure.
Yeah. You got to make sure you have like all the essentials. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that's about it for show and tell.
I got a chainsaw, but I'll have to show that off some other time. And then tonight we're going to talk about this. And I've been looking for a copy of this book for a while. And they finally started reprinting it for really cheap, because for a while this could go anywhere between $20 to $100 plus on eBay, depending on the quality of the copy and everything.
Just coming from the guy who
And-
sold that Ghostbusters book for like $20 or $50 or some shit, right?
The Shally Fish one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sold that. I sold it for $100
Sick.
One of the
in
old-
like
got one
in
of the
like
old
2015.
Beautiful.
But the Shally Fish Ghostbusters book, like I read it, it wasn't that great. And honestly, I have a PDF of it from what is it? The afron.net or whatever his site is. So, well, Alec, you want to start talking about the versus thing? I'm going to run and take care of an errand real quick. I'll be right back.
Well, we usually just have a couple categories here. And here's the thing. It's occurred to me over the last week that this is like fucking putting Mike Tyson in the ring with a small child with a disability. It is rude and brutal, but
Don't talk about Jurassic Park that way.
we're going to do it anyway. So
Jurassic Park does not have Clint Howard, so.
Well, that's true. That's definitely a slight against it.
Yeah.
Or Tiffany Runyon and
Tiffany Runyon.
is it Tiffany?
Jennifer?
Jennifer Runyon. That's what I went to school with a Tiffany Runyon. That's what it was.
Diane Ladd, though. I mean,
Oh, who else did I see?
That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Basically, we kind of do this in rounds. It's kind of a Mortal Kombat theme. We just started this. Like a month ago, we did Vertical Limit versus Cliffhanger. And we did the first round. I can't remember what it
In
was.
another universe, we did Volcano versus Dante's
Yeah, and then
Peak.
that episode just committed
Got
suicide.
deleted.
Yeah.
Mm.
So round one, we're going to try to talk about cast and characters. And we'll basically each vote for which movie
Mhm.
has the better cast and characters.
Oh, Star Trek
Okay.
Voyager is Martha Hackett, isn't it?
Which is, it usually works better with an odd number of people, but I for some reason, I don't think we're going to any ties
Does it?
tonight.
I just won't talk.
And round two
I didn't enjoy it.
for is realism and science. And that doesn't even mean like, is this super realistic? Could this happen? It just means like, more like physics. Like,
Sure.
I don't know how to
Right.
explain that. You know what I mean? Round three, how enjoyable is it? How much do you enjoy yourself watching it? Is it fun? That kind of thing. Not take that one too seriously. And round four is, I just put in quotations for this one, cinema. How's the quality of this in terms of
Oh,
filmmaking and artistic value that way?
well,
This is gonna be very fun.
Yeah. I just went through
Yeah,
the
this
lineup of rounds for us, Justin, since you know how we round one, cast and characters, round two, realism and science, round three, how enjoyable is it? And round four, quality of cinema. Is it cinema? It's basically inspired by, the Scorsese shit.
Yeah.
All right.
oh, this is gonna be pathetic.
Both from 93.
Mhm.
some opening notes. You know, Jurassic Park is obviously just iconic. What does there to say about that fucking movie that hasn't already been said? That's the only thing. I got nothing else to add to it, really. It's iconic.
The only thing you need to say about Jurassic Park is if you haven't read the book, just take the time to read the book. I mean, because that's a whole other layer of this. But I know we're talking movies at the moment, but that book is one of my favorite books of all time. Like I read the book after I watched the movie as a kid. I'm like, people are like, "Why are you reading that book? That's a grown-up book." And I'm like, "No, this is an amazing book. Don't tell me what's a grown-up book or not."
Yeah,
like this is great.
I had not seen Carnosaur till I watched it this time.
That's interesting.
I don't remember seeing it before.
I was it was kind of like on my list. I have a bunch of movies like Carnosaur, for example, that for some reason I'm like, all right, I refuse to watch it even though I know I'm going to have a good time watching it because I just want to have things to look forward to and save all of these things. I don't want to go through and watch every old movie, so I
get it.
It's a weird neurotic bullshit.
I searched our chat.
Yeah.
You were talking about buying it like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
In like 2020.
That's interesting to see like to know what you thought of it seeing it for the first time in 2023 because I saw this movie as a kid. I saw this movie the year it came out because I was annoying about Jurassic Park and I was like, Mom, I need more of Jurassic. I need more of this. So she rented Carnosaur for me and I watched it a lot as a kid. And it's weird watching it now because I rewatched it when I read the book, which was during the like shutdown during the pandemic. I read the book, watched the movie, and that was the first time I'd seen it for a while. And I came out of it feeling a little different about it. Like I was always like, oh, I love this movie. But then I watched it and I was like, do I love this movie?
So for first time,
I was thinking, all right, this is reminding me of as I was going through it. I was getting hints of Critters. I was getting hints of Tammy and the T-Rex and something else. I can't remember.
Hey, by the way, did you guys pick tonight to record about Carnosaur because you knew that today is the director's birthday?
We did.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. These coincidences happen all the time, actually. We're like, oh, shit, this is 30th anniversary of this movie that we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Okay. We totally knew that.
So for this movie, this is a first time watch for me as well because it was one of those you always saw at the video rental store, but no one I knew had actually seen it.
No one was brave enough to spend that $3.
Yeah, well, even when like we had Hastings, you could do like the 49-cent rentals through like a couple of nights back in the day. Like it was still like no one had ever watched it that I knew. So I was like, I guess I haven't heard anything about it. But
the other one it reminded me of was Jack Frost, the horror movie.
Ooh.
Oh
yes.
Like, I don't know, just something about the filming style and probably budget similarities.
Yeah, so the thing with this movie, like people don't realize is, right, this book came out 6 years before Jurassic Park, the book was published. Came out the same year movie-wise. They sold the movie rights to this book several years, probably when Jurassic Park was in early development. Like they may not even been aware of one another at the time. And they rushed this movie to get to market because they knew they had something that was similar and less than $1 million. So like their goal was to like let Jurassic Park pay for the marketing campaign on this movie.
Yeah.
Which is genius, right? Like it's low budget and like they let Jurassic Park do all the heavy lifting for them.
Yeah.
And they aimed it for a rental release market is basically what it was designed for.
The book, the Carnosaur of the book is much closer to the plot of Jurassic Park than the movie. It's so different. The book is so different.
They could remake the book into a TV series for like Netflix or something else right now, kind of episodic, because the book is very similar to Jurassic Park in many ways, but it's written like a Pulp Fiction style, easy to read book. Like Jurassic Park's very technical in nature and much more of a thriller and psychological and things. But the book is just a fun read. Now this movie's like way off from that, but it's still got so much entertainment value.
Did they deliberately make the movie not like Jurassic Park, or?
I don't know I don't know why it was rewritten.
Because it was still.
So whoever paid for the movie rights basically like rewrote the concept for it. So basically they're kind of just paying for the title to some degree, right? And the really loose concepts. So I think it was the director kind of trying to make it his own thing without, being a direct ripoff of Jurassic Park, because this obviously is a whole other level of bizarreness in a movie. But it's great though. I have fun.
Yeah. It definitely has the sort of reputation as being a Jurassic Park ripoff in terms of the movie. But
I think it's a secret. I think this is like a vegan movie. I was watching this last night and I looked up to see if the director was vegan, because there's so many
I can see that.
weird little jabs at the food industry and the meat industry. And I mean, the fucking movie starts off showing you real footage of inside of how they slaughter chickens.
yeah.
And I think that's part of why this movie hits differently for me now than it used to when I was a kid, because now, as someone who doesn't eat meat, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, oh, this is gross on a separate level. Like, there's the fun gross of these dinosaurs eating people, but then there's like this real world gross of them talking about how they're factory farming the chickens and these dinosaurs coming out of the eggs. And like the one character, I don't know his name, but the bald guy who's on the table while the guy's eating the blueberry pie, everything he says is like a tongue-in-cheek joke, but it's all real shit that happens in the actual meat industry. And I was like, this is a secret vegan movie.
What with the Coca-Cola?
No, I saw the
You guys
Coca-Cola
pick up
can.
on that?
I did. I have a note about the Coke can. I don't know why.
At one point, it was like a table full of people, and they all had Cokes in front of them.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Maybe they were like, if we put a lot of Coke in this movie, maybe we can get an endorsement from Coke.
Right.
Yeah, coincidence. Sometimes there's paid product placement, but for a movie sub $1 million made for the home video market, I don't think Coke paid them a dime. But they probably just like Coke over Pepsi for their the film crew, whoever's in charge of the catering for this film.
It's just really weird.
All right. Well, let's move on to round one here and
It has begun.
talk about these characters and cast.
Round one.
What do you got to say?
no
Jurassic Park. Impeccable. Can't be touched. I don't even have to list the crew or the cast. None of these people need listed because.
Yeah, let's do it.
What are you gonna do? It's perfect. I wouldn't make any.
I mean, all you have to do is say, name 3 characters from Jurassic Park. Everybody in the world can do that.
All right.
Give me one character name from Carnosaur. I watched it 2 days ago. I don't know anybody's name.
Yeah, I have Doc.
Hush.
I have great value. Well, Doc Smith is what's his name? But the characters are different.
Look at the note.
Actually, I do have something negative to say about Jurassic Park.
Uh-oh.
I think it's the only thing negative I can come up with about Jurassic Park.
The sequels.
No, that the actor who played Dodgson. I don't think I need to say any more than that.
Oh, right.
He's been
right.
He got reeked.
So that's 1 point off of Jurassic Park out of the other,
I guess.
otherwise flawless
Well, they
cast.
didn't know at the time.
Well, I know I'm
Or did they?
you got to have something to say about these people other than the perfect. Fuck.
There's no feathers on the dinosaurs. Is that one?
Well, not in this one. Right?
Scientifically speaking, though, that was still up for debate in the early 1990s. So
yeah, I was about to say you can't say anything about the first Jurassic Park for the feathers, but you can say something about
a lot of these
Jurassic World.
dinosaurs. A lot of these dinosaurs didn't exist during the Jurassic period. There's no.
That's very true. Yeah. Velociraptors are not 6 feet tall and 9 feet long.
Yeah.
No, they're not. Which is hilarious because the Jurassic Park toy line had the Utah Raptor, which is more accurate what the movie represents, which most people don't understand that, or the Deinonychus, which is what's portrayed in Carnosaur.
Yeah. Well, the Utah Raptor was discovered while Jurassic Park was filming, which was like, oh shit, all right.
Yeah, so they just slapped basically the packaging on one of the toys and called it that. They're like, yeah, here we go.
Yep.
So Carnosaur, I think my cast member award for only person who's I don't know, given a fuck. But even then, she's still just reminding me of what's his face's character, Bernie from Taming the T-Rex. Not actually Bernie, Terry Kaiser. That's
Yeah.
what his name is. Diane Ladd, who is Laura Dern's mother.
Yep.
Hey, so let's put those connections together. This is like almost like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon right now because Laura Dern and her mom both star. Yeah, Laura Dern and her mom both star in a Jurassic Park movie or a dinosaur movie, right? Basically, and then they both star in David Lynch films.
Exactly. Well, also Roger Corman. Let's just go back to
Yes.
1960. What year is that? The Wild Angels. Have you seen that movie, Roger Corman's Wild Angels, with Peter Fonda and Bruce Dern and Diane Ladd, who is married to Bruce Dern? It's a fucking dope movie. There's if you've ever seen The World's End, the Simon Pegg and Nick Frost movie, it opens up with a song. This is a long fucking talk, but from the band Primal Scream, from the album Screamadelica, which has a quote from that movie in it, which they end up repeating at the end of that movie, which is something along the lines of, we want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. And we want to get wasted or something and have a good time. Something like that.
Okay, so then we also have to talk to Ghostbusters connections. Jennifer Runyon, obviously. Peter Venkman tries to take advantage of her.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't ever discount that she's your...
You're moving ahead here. We didn't even get through Diane Ladd's list, man. She's also in Christmas Vacation.
Well, yeah,
Clark's
Clark's mom.
And Inland Empire.
Go look at her IMDb credits. It's incredible. She's in so much stuff. What blew my mind was like how young she looks in this compared to how she looks in Christmas Vacation. Like,
yeah,
just the hair.
Just what like that's what gray hair can do for you. Like, right? You're just like, holy shit, that's a huge difference. Blew my mind. I was like, this is way later. And after that, I was like, huh. And then the fact that I'm almost
hair dye.
Well, that's why I feel like I'm almost 40, and I'm like, huh, she doesn't look that old. I'm like, do I look that old? Don't know. Can't tell you.
People are aging a little better now.
Yeah, I agree.
Clint Howard.
Yep.
Hey,
Carnosaur.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great value, Howard.
No.
He's the discount one, man. He's the bargain bin Howard member.
All of the Howards are good. They're all good. They're all different.
Mm-hmm. He's related
I love all
to someone. Right.
Yeah.
I will say
Jurassic
I've probably
World.
seen.
Yeah.
This is my opportunity to bring up mommy posting.
Yes.
But
I feel like
Howard's
I feel like I've seen more of Clint Howard's movies than I have of his niece's movies and his brother's movies combined. Because Clint's in so much stuff.
Well, he's
like,
been
how
in
do you
more
not
than
see his-
those
yeah.
combined.
He's been in a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Movie horror.
that motherfucker
Yes.
pops up all the time and shit, and you're just like, oh, cool, Clint Howard's in this. Didn't know that. There he is.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Anybody got anything to say on the cast and characters before we vote?
They're not very good. I mean, like the main guy tries to be funny and charming. I love that he has a throwaway poke at Jurassic Park where he says like sounds like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean Jurassic Park, dude.
Right.
Sam Neill, like come on.
I mean,
Yeah, Richard Attenborough, right? Yeah, you look at the crew. There's just no comparison.
No, they don't have the money for that cast. Come on.
Well, Jurassic Park.
No.
Yeah.
False. No, Clint Howard gave him a good jab.
We all voted Jurassic Park.
Oh.
That's how it goes.
I didn't.
If you didn't vote, you didn't vote, Nick.
I've already met Goldblum, so Clint Howard would be the person I'd rather meet out of everybody. So.
Round 2.
Realism and science.
Realism and science. Okay, so let's start off. Carnosaur starts off as a PETA ad. It's a pure like 1990s PETA advertisement. They show you all the chickens in the cage. They show you industrial farming, like all the terrors of that. It's a terrifying opening once you realize what that is. Like as a kid, you're like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I saw this as an adult, but I just like put myself back in that headspace. You're like, who cares? And then as an adult, you're like, humans exploiting shit. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Very realistic though. And I'd almost have to say this is a little more realistic because you got someone that wants to kill the planet. We had a pandemic recently that matches that. So
Someone
My
wanted-
personal vote
Are
is
you
for
saying
Carnosaur
someone-
realism here.
Are you saying someone caused COVID? Is that what you're saying?
That's
even
crazy.
though people gave birth to dinosaurs in that one.
They gave birth to dinosaurs. Dinosaurs came out of chicken eggs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Jurassic Park is responsible for the further development of our actual real knowledge of dinosaurs, and it was responsible for everybody. Before Jurassic Park came out, everybody thought the T-Rex was like an upright creature. It was, at the time, it was as accurate as we thought dinosaurs were. And then in Carnosaur, it's like a hand puppet. And I don't know what kind of dinosaur that's supposed to be.
At one point, it straight up looks like an action figure next to the
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So-
I mean, like, neither one of them is realistic as far as the science, but that's
Which is
still
But here's the
more
thing: I
realistic.
will say, Jurassic Park again has the edge because it has inspired an entire new generation, much like Twister, of people to get into science.
exactly. Yeah, I
that's
agree with
that's
that.
fair, 100%. No, I was being snarky
And that's
when I
because
said
Michael
Carnosaur.
Crichton
Okay.
is good at science books. Books that
Right.
are from science.
And I mean, even if the actual science of creating the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park is complete bullshit, it's done in a way where it seems real. It seems like watching Jurassic Park, I'm like, I believe this.
They at least
But
tried to
watching
explain it.
watching Carnosaur, it's like, oh, people are sick, and then they birth out dinosaurs.
Right. I was like, wait.
that's the science of Carnosaur.
I was like, is this the stand
science-
of dinosaurs?
Hmm.
Like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
It all goes back to the intro credits for Carnosaur, where they're showing like all their little random numbers about trying to turn different things into different species through chicken eggs, and you're like,
Infected
okay, so that's
cells
your
per
science
million.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, Jurassic
But
Park hands down.
Yeah. Gonna give it to Jurassic Park.
Nick,
Yeah.
Carnosaur.
Yeah, just to be difficult, just to be controversial.
all right. Well, Jurassic Park.
Wins.
Round 3. How enjoyable is it?
Round 3.
Jurassic Park is a perfect movie, and I will always enjoy it. I can watch it over and over. It's one of those ones I won't get tired of. I could watch it over and over more than Ghostbusters, even though I consider Ghostbusters my favorite
no.
movie. I think
I
Jurassic
couldn't do
Park is
that.
more rewatchable.
Yeah,
disagree with that.
I agree with you. I think Jurassic Park is not my favorite movie of all time, but I have seen Jurassic Park more than any other. Like, I will, just like you said, I have rewatched Jurassic Park more than any other movie in existence.
Yeah.
It's probably in my top 3, but it's not my number 1. But I'll rewatch it over anything else anytime.
Absolutely.
I think
Jurassic Park.
We'd watch
Jurassic Park is just so easy to rewatch, though. I mean, like when I put it on the other day, it was like, all the lines in it, and it's different from Ghostbusters, right? Because it's not the comedy, but it's the balance in that movie is so amazing. And it's not my favorite movie. It's definitely in my top 5 for sure.
What?
But when I watch it, it's just like, oh man,
Jurassic
And, like,
Park.
I wasn't sure if he was talking about Ghostbusters.
No.
What were we talking about?
And you just watch it, man, and it's perfect start to finish. There's nothing you would want to change about this, unless you've read the book and there's some things that they've missed out on. But if you haven't read the book and you're just going strictly based on the movie, this movie is. There's nothing I would change about it.
I don't have any childhood nostalgia for Jurassic Park. Like I remember watching it when it hit VHS, but I was never like a huge fan. I was like, yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, that's one of those ones I don't remember watching for the first time. We just always had the VHS, so it's I was born with it.
But I was also 10 when Jurassic Park came out. Versus
born into Jurassic Park.
versus Ghostbusters being my whole life as a child. Like it was there when I was 1. So
Jurassic Park was interesting for me because I didn't see it in theaters, but I remember people talking about it, and I remember starting to see like friends have Jurassic Park toys and not knowing what it was. And then when it hit on video, we saw it. It was like, holy shit! It was like the next level of movie, and like the fact that we missed that, and our parents took us to see Terminator 2 at the drive-in. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, how did we skip this at the theaters? Are you guys day drinking or something? What's going on here? This doesn't make any sense.
That seems like one of those movies you should have seen at the theater because it's a big spectacle, you know.
Yeah.
Right. And Carnosaur. I had a good time watching that.
Yeah. I mean, it's got some fun stuff in it, but it's also kind of a rough watch. It's like, I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like this movie hits different for me now than it did when I was a kid, and I would watch it all the time, and I really loved all the gross stuff, and I still love all the gross. I still love all the dinosaurs, the gore, but I mean, it's fun, but it's like I want to watch this movie once every few years.
Yeah.
I'll watch Jurassic Park every day and be happy with it.
Carnosaur is
for
definitely, like you said, not just an easy casual watch like Jurassic Park. I've only seen it the one time, but I'm gonna watch it again. I want to buy it. I want to have copies of it around.
Yeah.
The thing is, it reminds me of I gotta have a DVD or Blu-ray, and you know,
Is there Blu-rays?
I don't think so, but
I don't think so. It is on DVD.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on Blu-ray.
And I got.
But what you got to do is you got to get into the sequels.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. So this is a very controversial thing where Carnosaur 2, which I haven't seen yet, I've got the whole trilogy on VHS now, but Carnosaur 2 used the same puppets and a lot of the same dinosaurs for the next movie.
Some of the exact same footage.
Yeah, and I've heard overall that Carnosaur 2 is a better movie. Like, it's higher rated by critics and everything else. Is a better movie than the first one, just because they had better camera angles and better shots of the dinosaur puppetry and stuff like in there. So
yeah, it is 100%.
I
don't know if you can even see it, but the back of this box with this like half naked woman hanging out of a Tyrannosaur's mouth, that is better than the first movie alone. Just that image.
Yeah.
The fact that they use the T-Rex a little more in this movie, like I love the T-Rex being like this weird behind a laser for some reason, and she's like, my favorite part about that movie is Diane Ladd's character tells 4 different people, "Oh, I'm gonna take care of you. You're gonna be fine," and then she feeds them to a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
feel like that's something like big corporations would really do if they had dinosaurs at their disposal. Like, oh, you're going on a ride up here, but we're gonna have to go have you do a little something over here. And next thing you know, like, you're just getting fed to dinosaurs.
Didn't I read that there's 2 spin-off films also?
Yeah, there's a couple of these. I think it's Carnosaur 1, 2, and 3, and then there's a couple movies that were like straight to Sci-Fi Channel, and they do reuse some of the same footage. It is like the same dinosaurs in all the films, and you can tell they're very specifically the dinosaurs from Carnosaur. There's like a movie, I don't remember which part it is, but there's one where like I think some people are digging in a cave and there's an explosion. There's a bunch of dinosaurs in the cave. I don't know. They're after the second one, they're not really. It's like maybe it's worth watching, but they're not good.
It's definitely
what
on the same level as, like I was saying before, Jack Frost and Critters. About as much as I enjoy those movies, maybe a little less than Critters. But
Critters is great. I love Critters.
Yeah, it's definitely more enjoyable. But I think, to be more fair, we maybe should have paired this with Tammy and the T-Rex.
That's what I was thinking.
Although I still think that one blows this one away, but that's with the gore edit, of course.
Yeah.
I think if you're just looking at book by book, movie by movie, like, okay, everyone says Carnosaur rips off Jurassic Park, when really it's kind of the other way around, but it's like, who is first to market, right? So it's that whole concept of people don't know this shit, so they assume
Carnosaur was the first novel, right?
Yeah, the first novel, and I believe it hit movie theaters first too, because they did this like in a hurry, basically trying to let Jurassic. No, I think it was this direct to video?
I think it was.
Hope so.
Yeah,
it was like it was basically we're just in a hurry to hit video stores. So,
yeah,
but I think that's why you compare them side to side. But interesting stuff.
I mean, the books are really, really different. Like, I mean, they're both about a rich person who creates dinosaurs, but Carnosaur is like the person. In the book, it's like a zoo. It's like a private zoo that has regular zoo animals and dinosaurs. And the guy, it's a man. It's not a woman in the book. And but they have the same goal. He just wants to create dinosaurs to let them loose and let them procreate and take over the world. But really the only similarities are a crazy rich man created dinosaurs again.
Yeah, essentially, like you could tell that Michael Crichton probably read the book for this and was like, "Oh, I can do that better." He's like, "I can make
Yeah.
that more accurate."
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened, because like I just took pictures of the page I was reading and I'm like, okay, so even the dinosaur species that are in Carnosaur the book translate directly over to Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same dinosaurs. Yeah.
So it's very
it's-
interesting that way. But
Yeah.
they're I'd recommend reading the book Carnosaur though if you can. I mean, watch that or read that before you watch the movie.
It's great. The book is there's a whole I love the beginning of the book is this whole sequence where like a raptor gets, I don't know if it's a Utah raptor or if it's a Deinonychus or whatever in the book, but it gets out and it kills a bunch of people. And the only person to see it and live is like a kid. It like kills this kid's entire family. And so the kid's like, it was a dinosaur. And they're like, no, it wasn't. And they tell everybody it was like an escaped lion or some shit like that. It's so much cool. That's so much cooler of a premise to start a movie on than a bunch of dead chickens.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see a readaptation to Carnosaur. Then that'd be interesting. I got to read that book though.
I would too. The book's also like way more. It's like a serious book. You know, it's not. The movie's very silly, and I love that about it. But the book's not campy or silly. It's very descriptive, and whenever people get eaten by, it's all pretty gross and realistic as it can be for a book about dinosaurs coming back to life. But you should check it out. It's definitely worth reading. And I mean, so is the fucking opening scene of the Jurassic Park book is a baby being eaten in its crib. So if you haven't read that, check that one out too.
Yeah, I've read Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
that one's good.
So I think that's the big thing to talk about here is like, you know, you gotta sometimes you just gotta dive into the books, because Carnosaur is a great book. It's a fun read. I like how it takes place in the UK, like on the main island over there. It's like all very much like, hey, here's what's going on. It's about journalists. It's pretty fresh as far as that goes. The dinosaur scenes are fun. The zoo scenes are fun. There's a lot
also
of like,
the end is insane. Like,
yeah, it's nuts.
There's like dinosaurs taking down tanks and helicopters, and it's like it's complete chaos. It's what Jurassic World tried to do and didn't really do.
Yeah, they didn't realize how easy it would be to put dinosaurs on the mainland like that. Like, there's a prime example for you. You already ripped it off. You just didn't take the story setting. You just took the scientific elements.
Yeah, there's a Jurassic Park quote that directly applies to that. I mean, you didn't do the work for yourself.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think
that was a long way around to say Jurassic Park wins.
What,
Yes.
What category is this?
How enjoyable is it?
Oh,
Votes. Nick, I'm just asking you.
Jurassic Park.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Wins. Flawless
I
victory.
can't even lie about that one.
Finish him. Round 4.
Cinema.
The cinema. The filmmaking quality.
Well, one of these movies was made by arguably the greatest living filmmaker, or just greatest filmmaker of all time, and the other one,
Corman?
I don't know the guy's name.
Roger Corman is in his own right awesome as fuck. But yeah, when you compare Steven Spielberg,
Roger Corman didn't direct it. It's a Roger Corman film. He's a producer. He's not the director.
Oh, see, I didn't even look that closely. I just saw.
No, it's his name's Adam Simon.
But that does check out because Roger Corman, as a producer, his name is put on a fuck ton of shit, so that makes sense.
What's the quality ratio for the budget? Like, is Carnosaur better for the amount of money it had?
No, I don't know what the amount of money that is, but the answer is no.
If I remember, it was around 850,000, not million. So
yeah, 850 million.
850,000 is what I read on Wikipedia or one of those when I was.
They did a good job for that amount of money.
They did, sure.
Mm-hmm. No hate to the artists.
I mean, they did create like a bunch of practical dinosaurs, and even though some of them are clearly hand puppets, they did make like a 12-foot animatronic T-Rex, but like Jurassic Park made a look at their animatronic T-Rex and then look at this one. So
Yeah, exactly.
Even just the sound effects, like how much work went into the producing the dinosaur sound effects for Jurassic Park versus Carnosaur, which is like
it's just guys going.
Exactly.
It's not. They're not convincing.
And the Jurassic Park ones are still ripped off to this day because that's just how people hear dinosaurs now. Like,
let's say you look at a B dinosaur movie that's made today, like say somebody like Hank Braxton's making a dinosaur movie, right? We all know Hank loves making the silly stuff he makes and he has a good time doing it. But you look at the dinosaur modeling they used is all ripped off of Jurassic Park 1. Like none of them have feathers or anything like that. There's like, okay, this is almost like a public domain style wireframe of 3D T-Rex. So like everyone's going to use the same thing. And like the layering and finishing they do on that depends on their budget. But like the overall look all looks like it drips off Jurassic Park. And so like that really just set the precedent of filmmaking for dinosaurs.
It holds up.
And they're the only major franchise we really have right now, right? So when we see another dinosaur movie hit the big screen, like Adam Driver's new movie drops next month.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
And so we're going to finally see dinosaurs on the big screen that are not made for in a continuation of the Jurassic Park franchise. So people are going to lose their minds over it, even though it's just going to be something fresh and different than what we're used to.
And wildly inaccurate.
Yes. Exactly.
I feel like Jurassic Park gets a pass for having some dinosaurs inaccurate because that movie came out in 1993.
Exactly.
But if you're making a movie in 2023, with dinosaurs in it, they should not look like Jurassic Park dinosaurs anymore. Like we can get over that and move on with the scientific knowledge that velociraptors did not look anything like what they look like in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, no.
Frog DNA.
And exactly.
You're right.
Yeah, no, well, as far as Jurassic Park goes, again, there's just like, I don't know how to say this. There's like beautiful moments in that movie. You know what I mean? Just like the scene when they see the dinosaurs for the first time and they're standing there on that fucking hill. Like,
yeah,
there's just so many different things conveyed in that movie that Carnosaur has none of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's, you hit the nail on the head. Like the first hour of Jurassic Park is nothing but dialogue, and it's literally an hour before that T-Rex scene happens. That's when like the shit really starts happening. And the first hour of that movie is all scientific talk about, the wonder of nature and how you shouldn't try to meddle with it. And they don't write movies like that anymore. Like movies now all have to be action and running and jumping and bullshit. But the first half of Jurassic Park is that. And then it's all based because of John Williams. Every single time there's music, you feel like a kid watching like everything. When they see that brachiosaur, you feel the exact same thing they do. Yeah. When that T-Rex scene happens, it's terrifying. But Carnosaur is all just like, okay, all right, hippies are getting eaten by something.
Yeah. Like the first couple dinosaurs in Carnosaur, you can barely tell what they are because, like, the first one's like kind of a crotch shot of like, the dinosaur eating somebody and
bites that guy's dick off when he's peeing.
Oh yeah.
And then you have the weird point of view shots in that movie as well. Right, which don't really lend for a good storytelling because we don't need that storytelling angle in that movie. But the emotional response that Jurassic Park is able to do for you is what makes it so special, because you feel the wonder, you feel the awe, and then you feel the outright terror of being scared for your life when you realize, like, oh shit, this went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
terrifying.
In terms of like watching Jurassic Park as a child versus now, is like you might even miss out on some of the deeper elements and themes, obviously, that they're talking about, depending on how young you are. But you're still entertained and watching somehow, even if you're not really fully understanding what's happening, because they're doing it in interesting enough ways, and there's enough. Like it's striking. You can't look away from that shit.
Yeah.
when they're
Well,
just sitting there talking.
it's fucking Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg made Jaws when he was 26 years old. For fucking like,
Yeah.
he's the greatest he's the greatest fucking filmmaker that we'll see in our lifetime. So, and it's crazy watching Jurassic Park. You know, Jurassic Park came out. I think I was 8 when Jurassic Park came out, and at the time, it's my favorite movie because I like dinosaurs and I'm a dumb 8-year-old kid. But it's like weird looking back on it now, being almost 40 and being like, oh, Steven Spielberg. Like, it's not just when you're a kid, it's just a dinosaur movie.
Yeah.
But now you can look at it and be like, oh, it's also just one of the most well-made films in history.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
the perfect like cohesive story, beginning to end. You're just I'm always enthralled because the locations and the people and the, like you said, the Spielberg shit, just how cinematic it is. Like those shots in the cave at the beginning. It's like me. He's a digger. All of that shit. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, just look at the Triceratops, right? Which in the book it's a Stegosaurus because you don't ever see those in the first one. But that Triceratops, it feels like your sick family pet there, right? You're just like immediately like, oh man,
Yeah.
poor dinosaur's sick. Like you immediately feel for that. You have empathy for that animal, and you're worried about it. And like that, it's just masterfully done. Like it's a master class in how to have an emotional response, and the balance of even the CGI has aged better than most CGI. Like the only thing that I watch when I see that now is that first brachiosaur scene, like the finished layering on the outside of it doesn't look amazing. But the T-Rex stuff, like when you're going back and forth between CGI and the puppetry or the animatronics, you cannot beat it. It just blends so well back and forth.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing with that, like in editing and using multiple techniques, because you're like trying to, your brain is, especially if it's something's noticeable, you're going to try to figure it out. You're going to be like, it's going to take you out of it, but you don't have that in Jurassic Park. I don't have it, at least.
There's specifically a shot during the T-Rex breakout scene where it's one shot with no cuts in it that uses the animatronic and the CGI model, and it's Grant and Ian are looking out of their window, and the T-Rex, the animatronic head is like bumping into their car, and then the kid's flashlight goes up. So the T-Rex notices the flashlight and his head looks up, but when his head looks up, his head moves out of frame, and then he walks forward, and him walking forward is the CGI model, and it's in one shot, and it is the most beautiful use of effects ever, and it's such a weird it's not even like an important shot of the film. It's just like it feels like Steven Spielberg is fucking with you and being like, look what I can do. You know, he doesn't even care. It's amazing.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Well, and that's why so much other CGI, even after it for a decade or more so, just felt so out of place because they weren't thinking about the overall shot necessarily. They're thinking about like, here's the effect that's got to go in this shot. And like he shot it around like, well, whether we're going to have to overlay this with claymation, which we've all seen the test shots that they did for that. Like, hey, what are we going to go with? Because it was pretty late in the process before they decided to say, okay, we're going to go all CGI.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, you know, they already had so many other shots and everything done. And like, I know the whole claymation department was like super disappointed that they got cut because
a lot of them basically got fired because it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could be working on a movie of that level and then to see your whole art form basically go away unless you're doing it as a novelty.
Yeah.
Right. You have to be doing an entire movie that way, or you have to be doing something else because like that is a layer on effect basically died with Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like that was the death of a segment of the industry right there, which is like totally heartbreaking when you look at it, because that's a truly lost art form now for many people. But at the same time, like, look what we got out of it.
Yeah. It would have been a different movie for sure if it was all stop motion. Like part of me, it's like I love stop motion and I love all those old, you know, Harryhausen films. Yeah, but it's like it still would have been it wouldn't make it a less of a great movie, but it was just such the right place at the right time. And it's so, I mean, I've never seen anything that I thought looked better than that T-Rex scene. It's just like, and it's still it is still scary to watch. It's still scary. Like that whole, it's like a 20-minute nonstop. And the way the movie builds up to it, like everything you see, if you don't count the raptor, killing the guy in the very beginning, because you don't see that dinosaur, but you see the brachiosaur, which is makes you cry every time you see it. Then you see the raptor hatching out of the egg, which you still look at with awe. And then you see the triceratops, and it's sick, and everybody's crying over it. Then the next thing you see is this most terror. It's like flipping the coin and being like, okay, we've seen all the nice sweet stuff. Let's show you the scariest thing we can put in this movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Carnosaur does none of that. Like, you don't care about any of the characters.
I forgot we were talking about Carnosaur.
Yeah.
Carnosaur has people in it.
It's got a lot of chickens in it.
It definitely was filmed on a camera, which is cinematic if you think about it. So it's got that going for it.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you what else that director wrote or directed.
Nope.
I think I looked him up, and he wrote a couple episodes of like some TV shows, but
yeah, nothing game changing.
No.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Wins.
I guess that's about
hands down.
Yeah. Just beats it to death.
Not to say you shouldn't watch Carnosaur. It's definitely worth a watch. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Return of the Living Dead, the way the ending is, where they just like fucking your main characters just get killed.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
I wasn't expecting that. The thrush. I was like, she's gonna live. Jennifer Rush, she's made it this far. She rescued out of that building.
Yeah.
Nope. But yeah, that was another interesting thing in Carnosaur, that the government was just going around shooting the shit out of people. They're like, fuck it, we're done. Nope, I don't care. Kill him. All right. And then when he got shot and she was in the room, I was like, oh, all right then. That's
it's a very weird, abrupt ending. Yeah.
And they're like, credits roll. You're like, what? That's it. We're done.
It's like it thinks it's Night of the Living Dead. It's trying to be Night of the Living Dead, but it's more like Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, for sure.
Classic.
Yeah, I feel like another movie you'd like compare this to would be like, let's say Twister, right? You say Twister compared to Night of the Twisters. No, like Night of the Twisters to Twister, right? Like Night of the Twisters,
we're gonna
based on a book. I mean, we should. I mean, I feel like
I'm going to say Night of the Twisters is probably better than Carnosaur also.
Better than Twister.
But I don't know. That might just be my, like, I'm a Devon Sawa stan, so.
I haven't seen that one in a long time. I wonder how good the tornadoes hold up in that. I haven't seen that.
The tornadoes
they're pretty bad.
They're not great, but the rest of the movie is still pretty decent, I think.
Again, though, that's based on a book, which is great. And then Michael Crichton wrote the screenplay with his wife for Twister. So you're like, I mean, what are you doing here, right? It feels like there's always like, he takes the concept and he perfects it, right?
Yeah.
He knows what to do with the story. Yeah.
Dude, he was killing it for a while.
Yeah. I mean, even if you go back and watch Michael Crichton's early stuff, like the Andromeda Strain movie, really good with the book. Like, it's an old sci-fi film, but it like really kind of shows you like modern what do you call it?
Viagra?
Virology?
And
no,
that was
not
for you, Nick.
Yeah, Nick's always got the low-hanging fruit jokes. He's got those picked for us just fine.
The jokes that they pop into your head and you're like, oh, that's awful. And Nick just goes, bah! Vomits it out.
A lot like the walk in the park joke from Carnosaur.
Yeah.
Classic.
I still can't get over that blueberry pie scene.
Yeah.
It's such a weird scene. The fact that the guy is laying on the table right in the man's face while he's eating the pie. I was like, what is he doing? I
had a note about the pie too. I wrote it down just because I was like, I'm also a big Twin Peaks person, so there's cherry pie, and now I'm like, blueberry pie. It's associated with Carnosaur forever for me now.
See, I got total Clark Griswold vibes because they're like, yeah, it's basically said this pie, the blueberries are good for 18 months. And I'm like, oh, this sounds like some Clark Griswold stuff right there.
Yes.
Right?
Now I remember that. You're right.
Food additives. And I'm like, okay, this makes
I was
sense.
thinking about the milk
corporation. Yeah, corporations got their fingers into too many different things. So like they're trying to make it all last, right? So I don't know. My mind goes to weird places when I see stuff like that in movies.
I definitely thought of Clark eating the old milk and cookies from Vegas Vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just while we got a few more minutes to talk, I just think that I would love to see, because, the state of Jurassic Park is they've sequelized it to death.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else to do with it, but as a huge, huge fan of the book,
I'm still enjoying Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah, that's good, but I'm just great. It's the best thing since Jurassic Park 3, really, as far as an overall storytelling cohesiveness. But I think, in another 5-10 years, I'm ready for them to reboot Jurassic Park and follow the book and do it as like an 8 to 10 episode series where it's really as dark and gritty as the book is. Like, right, I want to see that asshole Hammond, and I want to see the baby get eaten by a dinosaur, all that stuff.
Yeah, I've said that before too. I think HBO could do Jurassic. I think you could make it now. I don't care that like it's so different. Every one of those characters is so different from how they are in the movie that I don't think it would be the kind of thing you would watch and compare to Jurassic Park. It would just be so different. Make it rated R, let it be fucked up, let them do all the deaths the way they are in the book. That would be, and I think they should do the same thing with Carnosaur. I would watch another movie adaptation of the book. I think both of those would be great.
Yeah. If you follow the true book story in each of these, I think you have a much darker, scarier film, right? Like Jurassic Park, the movie, they knew that they needed to make this as a broad appeal movie, so they toned down what needed to be toned down, but they also told one of the most incredible stories ever made on film.
Yeah.
Right. No arguing.
Steven Spielberg's not gonna make a movie where a baby gets eaten. He's just not going to do that.
Yeah, but there's
something about Steven Spielberg's talent is that he knows he can. It's the same with, I don't know if you ever read Jaws, but the book's not the greatest book I've ever read, and but it's the greatest movie I've ever seen, and it's because he knows how to read something like that and pick out the moments, or he knows how to turn it into something even better. It just happens that Jurassic Park was a little, everybody's an asshole in that book. Everybody kind of sucks. Like everybody's kind of mean. Hammond is a fucking piece of shit. So it's, he kind of flipped it, but I want to see the asshole. I want to see a baby get eaten in its crib.
I'm gonna have to sound like that for our podcast. I want to see the asshole.
But there's such I want to see the river cruise sequence.
Well, that was almost in the movie. They were supposed to film that, and you can, if they next time you're watching Jurassic Park, whenever they're doing the lunch before they go out to the park, if you watch the screens behind them, one of the screens is for the river adventure, and it's a picture of a boat with a bunch of people in it. Going down a river with some dinosaurs.
Like Jurassic Park 2, the movie, obviously the Lost World Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park 3, those, especially Jurassic Park 3, since there's no book for it, basically took all the scraps out of the first 2 books that weren't ever adapted and was like, okay, we're going to use these sequences. Like in the Lost World Jurassic Park, when the T-Rex puts its tongue through the fountain, or not the fountain, but the waterfall. Yeah. And like that's a scene directly out from Jurassic Park, but it's a juvenile T-Rex that's doing that. So there's so many cool things. And like in the book Jurassic Park, the whole crew is there trying to get power up after the storm knocks the power out and some of these other things. And so there's people around, there are other people that are there to die that are helping part of the restoration. So it's much more terrifying because there's all these people there that you think could help you and protect you, but they can't. And I think that makes the book that much more terrifying.
I also like that the dinosaurs are already out in the book. Like the dinosaurs are already getting out of the fences and out of the park before the power goes out. And it's one of the things that people have always theorized, that maybe they were going to put that stuff in the movie, because there's a lot of theories that maybe the Dilophosaurs were already out of their fences, because that's why you don't see the Dilophosaurs when they pull up to the thing and they're all gone.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
When you see the raptor eggs like on the beach or under the beach, but in the book, you find the whole raptor's eggs nest, which is very fascinating, right?
Yeah.
So there's just so many things there you could put in there, but like they took the aviary from the book, right, and they put that in Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
And there's all these sequences and things like that and that's why Jurassic Park 3 is actually still a good movie, considering that it wasn't based off any original source material. They were able to just take other things and kind of do something with it because they had enough good scenes and sequences that they could say, okay, we can make this into its own story.
Yeah.
Well,
so what do you got, Alec? Any final thoughts on this?
Final thoughts. I like Jurassic Park a lot. It's about
It's
it.
good.
Carnosaur,
I mean,
it's pretty good.
Yeah. A damn fine film. Damn fine book.
it's weird for two movies and books that have so many weird, like, same actors and connections and some of the same plots. It's almost like you can't really compare them outside of that, because they're so different. They're made by such a completely different levels of filmmakers and actors and everything, that it's almost like, what's the point of trying to compare these two? They're both fun.
That was
They're
our whole
both
program.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did it. I'm saying, but
Well, I mean, hands down, Jurassic Park's going to win, but I think it's fun just to go talk about this because this happens all the time. But, this one actually happened to be based off of a book and capitalized on Jurassic Park's marketing. A lot of these B movies now are direct to video or on demand. Yeah, exactly. The whole genre, right? This really helped launch
Atlantic
that whole
Rim.
This. Yeah. And you look at that now, and a lot of this stuff comes after the fact, but this is basically tied to come out at the same time to really capitalize on it immediately. Different marketplace then, but it still goes on to this day.
Some of those weird mockbusters and shit that's trying to capitalize on other shit is still good. Like, I like Python.
sometimes they're pretty good. There's a one I'm looking to see. I know I own it somewhere. They did a movie called 2010 Moby Dick, and it's literally the story of Moby Dick, but the whale is like a prehistoric, hundreds of feet long, and Barry Bostwick plays fucking Ahab, and it's amazing. I was like, this movie is so good, and it's like pretty accurate to Moby Dick too.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, you got to love that though, because you're always going to have the blockbuster, and then to your point, Alec, the mockbuster, and then you're going to have the stuff that's going to come out. And then I feel like the other thing we're not even comparing it to is, you've got Bollywood too doing its own thing where they're remaking movies and things like that. So like, when are we going to do the overall battle?
A lot of those
usually.
There's lots of just different stuff that's made in general by other countries in general that we haven't even seen. Like I wonder how many weird Korean or Japanese dinosaur movies have been made that I haven't seen that I need to.
Oh, dude, there's one. Let me tell you. Hold on. There is a Japanese. Where the fuck is it? Oh, hold on. I gotta grab this because this movie. I found out this movie existed, and it's just called Rex.
Oh,
but it's like this little girl has like a pet dinosaur, and it is one of the cutest movies I have. There's an entire sequence of like a dance number of this girl and this dinosaur like ice skating together.
Oh, God,
find this.
That sounds like
awesome. What country is this?
It's Japan. I watched this entire movie and didn't understand a fucking word. It's not subtitled, but it is worth it. This movie is amazing.
Sounds like it. Sometimes you don't need words to translate the emotion, right?
Yeah.
It's just there.
Speaking of that, we reviewed The Return of Godzilla last week, and
Justin watched it in Japanese.
Did not watch or understand anything.
No, but
you didn't watch it subtitled?
He couldn't get the subtitles. I don't know why.
My stream source didn't have the subtitles.
I have the DVD. The DVD version that I have has.
But did you
Like,
But did you watch the American version or the Japanese version? Because there's two completely different versions of that movie.
yeah, I don't know which version he watched.
Well, did it have
I'll-
did it have Raymond Burr in it? Did it have uh
No,
the American guy?
my DVD
No,
doesn't
it did.
have that.
I watched.
Okay, then you watched the Japanese.
Watched
version.
Yeah, mine
Because
has the
that,
Japanese version, but it also has the 2016 release of this DVD. I read about this has the original Japanese music with the English dub. If you choose to view it that way, it's like a newer dub.
yeah,
It's interesting, but
yeah.
I still watch it.
I like the American version of that movie because Raymond Burr has this really great.
Yeah,
he's got
returns
this,
from
like-
the original, right? The
Yeah,
original.
he returns from the original, and he also so that movie was a little sillier when it came out or when they were filming it. And Raymond Burr said, "I'm not reading this bullshit." He was like, he's like, "This character is not to be made fun of." He's like, "This was a serious film," and the American writers were rewriting it to try to make it a comedy, and he was like, "Nope, not doing that." And it's because of him that movie turned out good and didn't turn into like a parody of itself. And that monologue he gives in the very end when Godzilla's falling into the volcano it's beautiful. And it's not in the Japanese version. They're
I'll
both
check it
good
out.
versions, but yeah, it's a good film.
I'll definitely have to
Yeah,
check those out then. I mean, I've
I'm
watched
pretty
that.
sure the last time I watched the American version because I streamed it, through work or whatever. But when we covered it for the show, I didn't have
I'm
the.
pretty sure I bought this DVD when I was living at your place and we watched it.
Is that what we watched? Okay. For some reason, I thought we saw it on TV.
I think that DVD's probably got like it might have 3 cuts of that film on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the green framed one from I think 2016.
Yeah.
That same video store sold me a DVD that had 3 Godzilla movies in it, and I just kind of was like, "Oh, these ones seem like they're more popular ones. Which one does it have?" It has GMK and it has, fuck, I don't even know. It has 2 other ones.
GMK. I bet I have it right here.
It's the orange one. I have it. It's just out in the other room. I don't want to get up and go grab it, but
Yeah, it's probably if it's got GMK on it, it's probably got 2
Tokyo-
other films from like that area. Tokyo SOS.
no, actually, I have a separate copy of Tokyo SOS. I'm thinking about it,
Okay.
but I really like both of those and that kind of.
Yeah.
But either way, I bought it there for like $10, and I went back like a couple months later, and they have another one, and it's in a case now, and it's $45, and I'm like,
Yeah, those because those movies they went out of print and they're kind of expensive now. A lot of those Godzilla films are. You can get the Criterion collection, but it's only the Showa films, which means it's only the Godzilla movies from 1954 to like 76. But all the movies from the 90s on into the 2000s, they released them on DVD like twice, and then they started coming out on Blu-ray, but then they made short runs of them, and now they're expensive, especially like for a while. Godzilla versus Biollante was like impossible to get, and it was like copies were going for like $200 on DVD, and I think now you can get it cheaper than that, but a lot of those films you got to find them at a thrift store if you want to own the DVD copy.
yeah. We have a vintage stock here. It's just one of those places that takes in all the used stuff and sells it, video games and movies. And
Yeah.
that's where I bought all the Godzilla DVDs I have. And I maybe only have like somewhere between 10 and 15, but like
Yeah.
anytime I'm in there, I'm always looking. And they still, right now, they only have that, like I said, the copy that I already have, but it's in a clear box marked up. But I
trying to make their money off it.
yeah, I got a couple of them there though.
You can find the old ones on VHS all over the place. I feel like I see those a lot.
Yeah, I've got 5 or 6 of the VHS tapes. What do I got over there? King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yep.
Right here, I guess, is King of the Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Gigan versus Megalon. Godzilla 98 and Godzilla 2000.
Okay.
But those are just the ones I've seen in person. I haven't ordered any online yet, so.
Yeah. I'll look through and see what double. I got some doubles of a few, and I'll see if it's not any of those ones you got. I'll send them over.
Oh yeah, hit me up in Messenger. I'll hit up some of these. I go because these places I DoorDash, so I'm always dropping into these thrift stores when I drop by.
Yeah.
I'll
That's
just
awesome.
see what's up. Send you some weird shit.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so Jacob, where can everyone find you if they're not already following you on social media?
Oh, just you know, you can find YHS podcast. We're on everything. Annoyingly, 3 shows a week basically coming out. You can just look up Yes Have Some, and you'll find all of the channels.
Awesome. Well, yeah, go check those out and subscribe if you're not already doing so. And definitely appreciate you joining us tonight and sharing your insight. We know dinosaurs and kaiju are right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
and
anytime.
you're
It was
sort of
fun.
the expert on.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have to return some videotapes. Have to return